Hi, everyone. Andy Goldberg here, and welcome to the Founders Chair podcast. Today, I am delighted to be speaking with Melinda Pacitti of Pacitti Hamilton. Melinda, welcome to the Founders Chair.
Thank you very much, Andy. Delighted to be here.
And it's a Friday afternoon. I don't know about you, but this is the last thing I'm doing this week.
Yeah, me too. A good way to end the week, isn't it?
It is indeed. So, tell us a little bit about your personal story first, Melinda. Just tell us a little bit about you personally, where you live, what you get up to, where you're from.
Okay, so I was born in Glasgow and moved to East Renfrewshire at a very young age. I've got a household of seven, all under the one roof, aging from 3 months. That's a shout out to our new puppy. I've got an 8-year-old daughter, 21-year-old, 24-year-old, 26-year-old, and then myself and my husband. So as you can imagine, never a dull moment. And from the surname, you'll gather that the family are Italians. So neither is there ever a quiet spoken moment.
Yeah.
So busy household at home. When I do get time, my stress relief is dancing. I enjoy dancing, dance classes. I like circuit training, going to the family caravan, and I like playing cops and robbers with my 8-year-old. We play a mean game of cops and robbers, and we've arrested quite a few bandits in our imaginary games.
Right. Wow. The energy you must have and need. I thought I had it, busy with five people under one roof, but I need to stop complaining about five people.
Yeah,
That's
I think
brilliant.
yeah, I think it makes you very efficient with your time because you've got so little time, and I actually think it makes you more efficient.
Yes, you got to be organized.
Yes, absolutely.
A quality we like from our accountants, as it happens. Tell us a little bit. Well, we'll get into the actual business currently in a moment. Tell
Right.
us tell us the story about how the business came about, Melinda, and at what point you felt you had the confidence to run a business.
Yeah, so where to start? The short version is a practice owner that I knew was planning his exit for retirement, and he'd asked if I knew anybody that would be interested in buying his practice. And to be completely honest, I wasn't interested. I never wanted to be a business owner. I had worked with businesses, so I knew all too well the challenges and the difficulties of running a business, and why on earth, would I put myself on that side of the table when, I'd seen so much of it, so, firsthand how it affects clients' lives and the wider area as well. But I think life's got a way of steering you in a direction that it's just meant for you. And in 2019, the firm that I was working for, I had been there for 26 years, got bought over. My own boss retired and the firm got bought over. Um, and it just presented an opportunity for me to look at where I was going, and, you know, decided to get my practicing certificate, remortgaged my house, borrowed money from my dad, borrowed money from my mum, which was my dad's inheritance, and I purchased the accountancy practice from the retiring accountant. We were working towards an entry date of early April 2020, and the month
Something
before
happened.
that, yep,
Something happened around that time.
just a little thing called
Yeah.
COVID you might have heard of. So that March 20, COVID hit, and we were due to sign off on the purchasing the practice in April. And the easiest thing for me to do would have been to walk away, because I don't class myself as a risk taker or even an adventurous person in that way. My youngest was 2 year old at that point, and here I was considering buying a business that relied on looking after other businesses at a
Mm.
time when we didn't even know if there would be any businesses for us to look after COVID. So it was really scary. And I say we bought the business because I didn't want to do it alone.
Yeah.
I knew the commitment with my family, my young my older kids, I knew that this is going to be a massive thing. So I brought in a former colleague of mine, and together we took the leap. And Pacitti Hamilton was born on the 1st of July 2020 at the height of COVID. Since then, fast forward, my ex-business partner has left the practice, so I now run Pacitti Hamilton on my own with our team. So going back to when did I get the confidence to do this and to take this leap of faith? Um, I don't know. I've helped hundreds of businesses, but being a business advisor and being a business owner are very, very
Yeah.
different scenarios. Um, Especially, never mind amidst a global pandemic when absolutely every business owner and their employees are relying on our help. But as I say, life's got a way of steering you there. The firm I was
Yeah.
in that bought over, and something just made me think, this is a good opportunity, and I'm going to take it.
And you said you borrowed money to get started, and did you say remortgaged?
I remortgaged my house.
Yeah. So
Um,
I did the same to start my business, and the risk that's involved with that is very real. But on the other hand, I think there's a benefit to that in that you can't really quit. You can't walk away, can you? Like it removes the choice,
yeah,
and the choice is the danger. When you have a choice to fail, it's a lot easier to go
yeah,
route.
yeah,
And COVID tested us, didn't it?
yeah.
Tested our
And
resolve.
yeah, and the money that I borrowed from my mum, my dad passed away at 54, and his life savings passed on to my mum, and my mum, offered me to borrow that money on conditional terms to invest into the business. So it also brought in an added, remortgaging is one thing, but a very, very, very personal element that I was given this opportunity, then, and my dad was part of that. He's no longer here, but he was able to be part of that because I used his life savings to do that. So it's just got such a special place in my heart. And as you say, failure wasn't an option.
Yeah.
During COVID, when the country was on its knees, businesses were on its knees, people were able to access furlough, access grant funding. For us accountants, there was no funding, there was no support. You were literally thinking on your feet. There would be, for example, COVID, CGRS, the job retention scheme. There was 27 changes to that legislation, and overnight or within, clients would phone before even the news was finished. Clients would phone and say, "What does that mean for me? What can I claim?" So, thinking on your feet, and these businesses had just met us because we've just taken over. So you're very quickly getting, their confidence, and the team, the whole team just done absolutely amazing. So sorry, I should have said that. We took paid the staff from the practice that we bought to us.
Yeah.
And having been part of a two-piece situation myself when my employer was bought over, I knew what that felt like as an employee. I knew what that felt like and looked like for clients. So whilst I didn't have the confidence to be a business owner, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know if I could be a leader. But what I did know was I knew how to look after clients. I knew how to be a supportive colleague because the team, they're staff, but they're colleagues. So I knew how they didn't, I knew how I didn't want them to feel. And that from that foundation, it was, I'm not going to say easy, but when you're coming from a foundation that's just so authentic and so pure and from your heart, then the only way you can go is up.
Yeah. Wow. And so you had real drivers, real reasons, emotional reasons
Mhm. Mhm.
to succeed, and also to look after your team and
Yep.
and look after your business and make this work. So which
Yeah,
which is much stronger than a monetary incentive or
it really wasn't your typical startup.
Yeah.
I would say, because we've started up, we've opened the doors. We arrived at the office on the 1st of July with the team, that were two paid over, with the clients, and everybody looking at you with this expectation, right? What are we doing? How are we surviving COVID? Plus, on top of that, my portfolio of clients that I'd looked after for 26 years in my previous firm, they found me through internet search, through word of mouth, and before I knew it, my previous portfolio also joined us at Pacitti Hamilton, so that was lovely as well. So I've got clients that I've been working with for 30 years now, as well
Wow.
as the clients that I've acted for 4.5 years through Pacitti Hamilton. And it's amazing that the relationships I've built up with the clients that we took over and that I've known for 4.5 years are on par with the relationships with the clients that I've acted
Yeah.
for 30 years, because that's how very quickly, you become part of this person's
Sure.
team and they become part of our team as well.
I don't have any friends that have had for that long. I mean, imagine the strength of those relationships. That's incredible. So actually, on that note, so tell us a little bit about Pacitti Hamilton now. Tell us about your company, the services you offer, and who you offer them to.
Okay, so we've been trading for just over 4.5 years now. We're a team of 9, and we've a very broad and varied client base. Most sectors we represent. We've got clients that turn over £5,000. We've got clients that turn over £5 million. And we cover from startup, which is one of my particular favourites. I love
Yeah.
seeing clients with an idea, um, quite often having to have a wee reality check as well, that you're not going to turn over a million. It's not like Dragon's Den, you're not going to turn over a million in your first year, but we might get you there. And then I love working with my clients that are retiring. That's obviously a bit backward for business, because that's us, we're losing a client, but there's other businesses out there we can replace them with. But
Sure.
if I've worked with a client for 30 years and they say to me, I'm thinking about retiring, I'm like, fantastic, because I lost my dad young. So, the thought of somebody working hard all their life and then not having the time to enjoy that with their
Yeah.
spouse, with their family, upsets me. Or I've worked with clients, we've been on a 3-year retirement plan and they've, passed away before that, and that upsets me as well. So, but as soon as a client mentions retirement, I hit this imaginary button on my desk and I say, right, I've pushed the retirement button. We're on it now. So I don't want to still be having this same conversation. The clock has started. We're getting you retiring. What we're doing today to start that
Fantastic.
process. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel the same when I have a client that gets to the point where they're able to exit the business and they no longer need me to coach them. And, the journey is about them, right? We got them to where they want to get to. And so we need to be happy for them. And then, yeah, just go out and replace them with a new client. But
Mm-hmm.
that's, so tell us about who's helped you along your journey. Now, one of the things I always find interesting is, like you said, you didn't want to go, you didn't want to go at this alone. You wanted a business partner. You didn't want to make the leap on your own.
Yeah.
Now you are on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you still have people around you who are either role models or mentors or people who would push or inspire you?
Yeah, absolutely. One of my biggest inspirations has sadly passed away, but that was the the owner of the firm that I worked for, Bruce Andrew, um, and he just recognised something in me, gave me 6 years day release to qualify, which is almost unheard of, to have a paid day off
Mhm.
work every week for 6 years. But I remember when I was due to start college before uni, and I went into the junior partner in the firm and I said, look, I'm now going to be doing my accountancy qualification, and I'm in this side office, because I started as an office junior. Sorry, I started in that firm as an office junior. And I was still in that side office, but I was doing my accountancy qualification. And I said, I would like to move into the big audit room, because I think being amongst the conversations, being amongst, everybody's chatting over clients,
Mhm.
things like that. That's how you learn, just hearing these interactions. And he said, absolutely not, Melinda, that's no place for a female. We had no female accountancy staff, it was all male accountants. I said, okay. So I left his room and I crossed the hallway and went into the owner, the senior partner's room, Bruce Andrew. I said, Mr. Andrew, I'm going to be doing my accountancy now. I'd really like to get into the big audit room. And he said, absolutely. Was it young mister? Absolutely, madam, good for you, go you, and I'll just be telling them to watch their language. And I can still hear his voice and picture his face saying, absolutely, you can. And that still motivates me to this day. And on our website, you'll see, that I've mentioned I've dedicated my career to Mr. Andrew. Again, sadly, he passed away really young, driving home from a client meeting.
Oh,
So he was just a massive inspiration. Him and the tax manager in the same firm. When I started as the office junior, he said, "Man, I think you should go and I was doing a business admin course that was meant to take a year, and I'd done it in 3 months. And I'm like, right, what do I do next?" And he says, "I think you should do your HNC now, HNC in accounting." Now I left school for the lure of the £35 a week salary that this office junior role was offering. I was going to do that until I was old enough to work abroad. That's all I wanted to do, work abroad. Didn't want to do anything with further education, maths, no chance. So when he said, I think you should go and do your HNC, right, okay, I'll do that. Done that, flew through that. I thought, what would I do next? And he says, I think you should do your professional accountancy qualification, your, ACCA. So I applied Glasgow Caley to do that. As I say, I had day release for 6 years across the board to do my qualification and qualify. So those two people under the one roof, Ian the tax manager and Bruce Andrew the owner, are really how I got where I am today.
wow. How important is it that you have people like that, stories like that, like memories, and that you say like the universe like takes us one direction, and we might be thinking about going another direction, but it's the people that are in our lives that are steering or helping to steer us in those directions, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I think surrounding yourself with like-minded people, surrounding yourself with positive people. And I actually get a lot back. There's a couple of clients that, for one reason or another, they took it upon themselves to go out their way to check in on me. You phone and I'll catch up with them and say, yeah, but Melinda, how are you? What's happening with the business? And I just think that really humbles me that they're taking time out of their busy schedule to check in on me. And, they've maybe been in business for 50 years and they'll say, well, this is what worked for me. And, just to hear that. So I'm constantly learning, that's the main thing, learning and learning from people, I think is so important.
What would you say has been your biggest challenge during the years as a business owner? I mean, you started up, right around the time of COVID, so we can count that. A lot of people are mentioning COVID as the biggest challenge in their business journey, but has there been anything else that you would say has been your biggest hurdle or your biggest challenge over the years?
I kind of thought COVID was actually a good thing because I thought if we can get through this, we can get through anything.
Yeah,
So that was a good start.
good way to
Uh,
look at it. Yeah.
yeah, the challenges, they come one after the other, and you just get over one challenge and lift your head, and another challenge hits you. What's been my biggest challenge? Probably my standards and my expectation of myself are exceptionally high. I don't even have that of the team. I don't ever put anybody under the pressure that I put myself under. So I'm constantly benchmarking myself against my standard, and I over provide to clients, but it's what's
Mhm.
kept, my portfolio that I've had for 30 years. Clients that have joined me from other firms have said, wait a minute, 5 minutes into this conversation and you've already told me what nobody's told me in 20 years. Where were you 20 years ago? I needed you and I didn't even know that I needed you. Um,
Yeah.
so that's a challenge. Myself, um, my own standards is a challenge in itself. But each challenge that we get hit with, definitely I come out better. We all come out better, more resilient, more knowledge. We've added a tool into your tool bag. Maybe it was already there, but it just needed sharpened or it needed,
Mm.
needed polishing a bit. But there we've got it. So out of every challenge comes an opportunity.
As long as we're looking for it and as long as we're making it happen, right? Otherwise, it's just
Yeah,
another, it's
yeah,
just a
you need to be
problem, right?
you need to be receptive, open-minded, and not let yourself. It would be
Yeah.
so easy to like, open it. Oh my goodness, there's another challenge. Oh, no, and your head would go down and down and down on the desk. But you can't operate. So that's you could go into victim mode. We don't operate. We're not our best entrepreneurial self in victim mode. So I don't allow myself to go in there. I could because there's been challenges in the last year, particularly that I could easily have said enough's enough, but I didn't. It went the opposite. I said,
Yeah.
bring it on, and I can handle this, and I can come out the other side of this better.
There's always going to be problems in business. It's not about our ability to prevent problems. It's just about how do we respond to problems because they're never going to. Where there's people, there's problems, right? So let's expect the problems. Let's even welcome them and become problem solvers. I mean, that's kind of the message I'm,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, and
hearing you.
I used to get really nervous getting into my client meetings. And it was because I knew they would have a problem. So they were coming to me with a problem. And the expectation I would have of myself was that by the end of this meeting, I would have solved that person's problem. So they would have put the problem on the table and I would have put a solution on the table and they would go away quite happy. But that would be like expecting to hobble into the doctors with a sore back, right? I get backache, so
Mm,
I'd be expecting to get doctors and walking back out backflipping out the doctors cartwheeling because they fixed it. That doesn't happen.
yeah.
The doctor will say, well, have you tried this? From my experience, what about this? And now I understand that it's a journey. And more often than not, clients actually aren't coming in, expecting to walk away with a solution. But the tools that I give them, the challenging questions that I give them, the wee bit of insight, well, this works for me. And I'm quite comfortable, especially now that I'm on my own, I'm comfortable sharing my business mistakes, my business challenges, because then I can speak authentically to the client. When I was an
Yeah.
employee, I was helping clients, but I didn't know what it was like to have that VAT bill at the end of the quarter, have that tax bill at the end of the year, have that employee that needed a wee bit of help. I didn't know. So I was just saying, well, this is what I think. But now I'm in the same position as the business owner. So I'm comfortable to say to them, that was happening to me and my cash flow was struggling. And I tried this and it's worked. Or I've tried that and it didn't work, so let's come up with a
Yeah.
combination. And I just love it. I just love it.
Yeah. You're almost like in a peer group with your clients. Like we're all in this together. I'm a business owner, but a business coach as well. And I can relate to the things my clients are going through. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
You're relating, right? And
Relatable.
you've got
That's what
experiences.
we get a lot, yeah, that we're relatable. And a lot of people will say, I had somebody in last week and he said, Melinda, do you know what? You're not your typical accountant. I says, well, I hear that quite a lot. He says, no, can talk to you, but I get the best advice from you. I can laugh with you, and being able to switch like that and also being able, the audience, I can be one way with one client that I wouldn't dream of being away with another client, and it's just reading the room and making sure that client gets from you what you need, which can be exhausting. Just now I can be doing 6 back-to-back meetings, and it's like it's like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost. I don't know if you've seen that, but
Yeah.
this person comes in and takes everything from me, and that's kind of what I
Yeah.
deliver.
In my early days of coaching, I remember saying to my coach that at the end of a day of a lot of coaching sessions, I was
Mhm.
exhausted. And
Yes.
I said to him, I said, well, how do I stop that? And he said, no, you're transferring your energy onto your client, right?
Yeah.
You're giving energy to them. So they're coming away energized. And then
Yes.
by the end of the day, you're spent. So you've just got to replenish that energy for the next day.
And how do you do that? Well, I go to the gym and do a circuit class at 6:15 in the morning. So that's me starting the
Yeah.
energy. But absolutely, and I don't mind giving my energy to clients. And like, see if a client comes in and they're in a really low place and their energy is really low, I can find that quite draining and they'll leave and my energy's down as well. So that makes me think, well, even if I'm having a low energy day, I don't ever transfer that to a client. You know, the minute the door opens and they come in, how you doing? You know, right, what we doing? Next 6 months, I want you to sell this, I want you to do that. And they do go away feeling really motivated, or quite often they'll
Yeah.
say, Melinda, I feel better just having spoken to you. You know, and that's lovely.
So what's Melinda, what's the next big thing for Pacitti Hamilton? What do the next 1 to 3 years look like for you in terms of growth, opportunities, challenges?
Yeah, Andy, let's try for the next 1 to 3 hours, like the 1 to 3 years. But well, so recently I became a sole director. That's brought upon some changes, but change is good because from that comes opportunities that I'm embracing. So I'm developing the business advisory side of the practice. So just now, as I say, we deliver all accountancy services, but where I feel I add value is the business advisory, just having those nitty gritty conversations that are difficult. Nobody wants to hear me saying, you know, because the business is their baby. It's difficult for me, you know, to hear me saying, I think we need to change, or I think you need to look at this a bit differently, or just wording it in a way. So I'm doing just this month, just started a business advisory course, which will give me a business advisory qualification to sit alongside my accountancy qualification because they feed in really well. And whilst looking at the content, you know, it's what I do already and what I know, but it's really solidifying that into one place. And as part of the qualification, I need to have, you know, work with clients, video myself and submit me giving this delivery to clients. So I'm going to select a few clients, not as my guinea pigs, that doesn't sound right, but you know, they'll benefit from this. But basically just putting a proposal, putting a bespoke um, a bespoke package in place for them, um, and then I need to submit that to show that I can actually do what
Yeah.
the qualification requires of me. So I'm really really excited about that because I've never done anything like that before. I'm also about to embark on a project with a AI expert. So I think I'm not techie at all, but AI, a good quote that I took from the introductory course is that AI isn't going to take away my job, but another firm, you know, another accountant using AI in a responsible manner could take away my job. They could take away the client.
Yeah.
So I need to make sure that I'm staying current and that I'm using AI, using it responsibly. So I've got loads of ideas how to use that, and if I can put these ideas into practice, I think it's going to be a game changer. For
Yeah.
example, I've got an idea of having, you know, a Melinda bot on the website where 24/7, if clients need to or want to ask anything, that I will have fed in. Not your chat GBT where it's going to the internet and just grabbing everything, but
Yeah. From the whole world.
yes. So I've had a thought that if I can get this expert to help me with a project that I feed in to AI, all of the advice, all the written advice that I have given, say over the last 4 years, if we feed that in, that clients can go on the website, speak to Melinda Bot and say, I'm thinking about getting an electric car, Melinda, what would this do to my tax? Or you know, how can I save corporation tax? What would a pension contribution do? And my bot will answer this, but it's me. You know,
Mhm.
it's how I've spoken. It's my language. It's not just going in and gathering it from the internet. It's still tailored. It's still bespoke. Hopefully, 100% accurate if I've got my information right. and it's just giving clients access to me 24/7, which they've more or less got just now anyway. But just a time saver on both parts.
Yeah. Look, it's so easy to just fear AI or
Yeah,
stick your head in the sand and hope it goes away.
yeah,
Uh,
it's not.
all AI, I mean, I think AI is just going to make us have to do things faster, do things better. It's
Mhm.
not a bad thing, but if we neglect it, it can be,
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. That a lot innovation is involved here, isn't it? So
Exactly, yeah,
um,
exactly. As accountants, we are traditional. You know, we do like things to be traditional, and
yeah,
initially AI, it's like, no, that's, that's a bit scary, and how's that going to work? But we need to embrace it. If you don't embrace it, we
yeah,
can't stand still. You know, the industry is
right.
ever changing. I'm seeing things before, now that I've never seen in the industry, and firms, a lot of firms merging, and there's there's chat that this traditional firm, a traditional accountancy practice where you can see your accountant and etc., that in the future, the not too distant future, there would be a place for that. And I really challenge that, and I would like to
Mm,
prove them to be wrong, and that this traditional accountancy firm will move with the times and will just keep getting better and better.
absolutely, a traditional, innovative, modern firm. uh,
Yeah, put that in the strap
yeah.
line.
What? Final question, Melinda. We're coming up to the end of the podcast and the end of the week. But what advice would you have for business owners who are just going out on their own or who are thinking about going out on their own? Call me.
No, I would say trust your gut. That's a biggie for me.
Mm,
What's my gut saying about this situation? Trust your gut. Be yourself. Be authentic. I keep saying that, but see when you try to be somebody else and you try to show up as somebody else, it doesn't work. And I would, from my
yeah.
experience, in my opinion, it doesn't work. Um, so be authentic, trust your gut, sleep on big decisions. I've learned that that's been a mistake. I've made a decision in the moment. Somebody said, I need to know, Melinda, by 1 o'clock today if you want to buy this product, and it's a 3-year sign in, and I've been put under pressure. And no longer ever make a decision under pressure. I sleep on it. I advise all my clients to sleep on a decision, and then when you wake up, you tend to have a feeling, whether
Mm,
it's the right thing or not. So that's a biggie for me. Speak to people you trust, but don't trust everyone. And that's from a mistake. That's from a personal mistake. Please learn from my mistakes. There's no point in us,
indeed.
us making the same mistakes. Please learn from mine. Um, I'm my biggest critic, but I'm also my biggest fan, and you've got to be, because nobody else is going to come in and do this business for you. You need to do it yourself. You need to get up every day and show up and keep pushing. In any
Yeah.
movement, people talk about growth, and people can be really focused on growing this turnover. And I would challenge you to say, below, step back, because growth can be across the way as well. Growth can be, being more profitable. Growth can be having
Mm,
happier employees, having happier clients. So don't be too focused, but all have that top line in mind, because when you're starting your business, if you start your business and you build it, so we were a team of 10 and I put 10 desks in there, and say I structure my internet cables to come into those 10 spaces, and they can't get moved. Um, then when I grow from that size of business to that size of business, this structure is going to cost me to pull it up. So what you want to do is, design your dream business in your head, how it's going to look at the top level,
yeah.
and then build a structure and an infrastructure that's going to get you there, because you can then pivot overnight without going out and
Yeah.
buying 10 more desks, without getting somebody else in to do all your rewiring. Now that's just a simplest form. That's what I think
Sure.
of it.
you're talking my language, right? Grow your business with the end in mind. Make sure that you
Yeah,
remain scalable and back yourself, right? Have some confidence, and if you don't have confidence, go find people that give you confidence, right? Like you said
exactly.
earlier,
Soak it up.
surround
Soak
yourself with the
that
right
through.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
That's great advice. I'm sure our listeners are going to really benefit, not just from that, Melinda, but from the whole story,
Mm.
and the whole, I mean, it's not been a long journey in this existing business, but the history that's led up to that, I think people are going to find really
Yeah.
interesting and relatable, like you
Relatable,
mentioned
yeah.
earlier.
And can I just say, Andy, when we talk about surrounding ourselves with people, those people don't need to be um, experienced business owners. So I couldn't have done this without, firstly, my mum and my dad from a place above. My husband, oh my God, my husband, I could not have done it without him. And I'll say to him, I'm thinking about doing this. No, I wouldn't do it. And he's not a business owner, he's an employee. And I wouldn't do it that way, Melinda, but I always need to go there and do it and learn from the experience and then come back to him with my tail between my legs and say that, Mark, that's not worked. And he's like,
Hmm.
yeah, kind of waiting for you to go back and say that. And then what in particular, my children, my 21-year-old daughter, who's been through, everything with me when, I was an employee, but I had deadlines. So she would be in the office until midnight, at age 7 in the office and to try and make it exciting for her, we're dancing on the tables to Mamma Mia, so she's been through everything with me. And at times when I have doubted myself, she just puts it down simply, but Mum, you can do it. But Mum, you're amazing. And I'm like, I am. I am amazing, and so
Yeah,
are you. So those people, they're not business owners. Um, but I couldn't have done it without them. And what the feedback and what they can give me has just been
yeah,
invaluable.
absolutely. Well, Melinda, we've come to the end of the program. And it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. So thanks for so much for sharing your story.
My pleasure, Andy. Thank you for having me.
Well, this has been the Founders Chair podcast. We've been speaking with Melinda Pacitti from Pacitti Hamilton, and I've been Andy Goldberg. And thanks to all our listeners. And we will see you all again real soon. Thanks again, Melinda.
Thank you.